Every second of every day, an invisible battle is unfolding inside your body. You can't see it. You can't hear it. And for many years, you probably won't even feel it. Yet billions of your cells are constantly defending themselves against forces that slowly wear them down. Scientists call two of the biggest culprits chronic inflammation and oxidative stress, silent processes that have become closely linked with many of the conditions we associate with aging. They don't arrive overnight. Instead, they work quietly in the background, influencing how our skin changes, how our joints feel, how efficiently our cells repair themselves, and even how much energy we have as the years go by. Modern medicine continues searching for ways to slow these processes. But what if part of the story began thousands of years ago? Long before microscopes, laboratories, or clinical trials existed, ancient civilizations placed extraordinary value on a remarkable desert plant. Egyptian healers treasured it. Greek physicians documented it. Traders carried it across continents. Some cultures even gave it an unforgettable name, the plant of immortality. Was that simply an ancient legend? Or were those early observers noticing something that modern science is only beginning to understand? To answer that question, we have to travel back more than 4,000 years to some of the harshest landscapes on Earth, where a resilient plant developed extraordinary ways to survive against overwhelming odds. In the dry, sun-scorched regions of the Arabian Peninsula and northeastern Africa, rainfall is unpredictable and temperatures can become unforgiving. Most plants struggle in these conditions. Many simply don't survive. But aloe vera adapted in a completely different way. Instead of depending on frequent rain, it evolved thick, fleshy leaves capable of storing large amounts of water. A protective waxy coating slowed evaporation, while specialized pores open mainly at night, allowing the plant to conserve precious moisture during the hottest hours of the day. Its survival became a lesson in resilience. Ironically, the very adaptations that helped aloe survive the desert would later capture the attention of people searching for ways to protect the human body from its own daily challenges. Just as aloe learned to defend itself against a harsh environment, scientists would eventually begin asking whether some of its natural compounds could help support the body's own protective systems. Long before those scientific questions could be asked, however, aloe had already earned a remarkable reputation. Ancient Egyptian medical texts describe preparations made from aloe, suggesting it held an important place in their traditional healing practices. The plant became associated with protection, renewal, and longevity. Historical traditions even connected with Cleopatra, whose legendary beauty has inspired stories for centuries. While historians cannot verify every tale, they do know that aloe was well known in Egypt and valued highly enough to be included among important medicinal plants. Some accounts suggest that aloe was placed inside burial chambers as a symbol of eternal life. Whether viewed through history or legend, one thing is clear: this humble succulent had become far more than just another desert plant. Its reputation spread far beyond Egypt. Greek physician Pedanius Dioscorides described aloe in his first-century medical writings, observations that influenced herbal medicine for well over 1,000 years. Roman physicians adopted many of these ideas, while traders carried the plant eastward into Persia, India, and eventually China. What's remarkable is that these civilizations developed independently. They spoke different languages, practiced different religions, and lived thousands of miles apart. Yet many of them reached a similar conclusion: aloe vera was a plant worth preserving. Of course, they didn't understand antioxidants, immune cells, or inflammation. Their knowledge came from careful observation. They watched what happened when fresh gel was applied to irritated skin. They noted how different parts of the plant produced different effects. Over generations, those observations became tradition. But tradition alone isn't proof. History can preserve valuable knowledge, yet it can also preserve misunderstandings. That is why modern science asks a different question. Not, what did people believe? But, what can we actually demonstrate? That shift transformed aloe vera from an ancient remedy into a modern scientific mystery. When researchers began studying the plant with advanced analytical tools, they expected to find a handful of interesting chemicals. Instead, they uncovered an astonishingly complex biological system. The clear inner gel contained a diverse collection of naturally occurring compounds, including complex carbohydrates called polysaccharides, antioxidants, amino acids, vitamins, minerals, enzymes, and plant sterols. Rather than pointing to one magic ingredient, the evidence suggested that aloe's properties might come from many compounds working together. One compound quickly attracted particular attention: asamanin. Asamanin is a naturally occurring polysaccharide found in the inner gel. In laboratory experiments, scientists observed that it could interact with cells involved in tissue repair and aspects of normal immune function. These findings were intriguing, but they also raised new questions. Results in a laboratory dish do not always translate into real benefits for people. So researchers expanded their investigations. Animal studies produced encouraging observations in several areas, particularly involving wound healing and tissue repair. Yet scientists remained cautious. Time and again, medical history has shown that promising laboratory discoveries sometimes fail when tested in humans. The real challenge was only beginning. Could aloe vera actually help the body defend itself against the invisible forces associated with aging? Or had centuries of tradition created expectations that modern science simply could not support? To answer that, researchers turned their attention to the body's largest organ, one that fights a relentless battle every single day without asking for recognition: your skin. For thousands of years, people instinctively reached for a freshly cut aloe leaf after spending too much time in the sun or after suffering a minor burn. The cool gel provided almost immediate comfort. But was that soothing sensation nothing more than cool moisture on warm skin? Or was something more remarkable taking place beneath the surface? Scientists decided it was time to find out. Your skin is far more than a protective covering. It is the largest organ in your body, and your first line of defense against an unforgiving world. Every day it confronts sunlight, pollution, changing temperatures, bacteria, and countless tiny injuries that often go unnoticed. As we grow older, that battle becomes more difficult. Collagen production slows, the skin loses moisture more easily, and the ability to repair itself gradually declines. This was the first battlefield scientists chose to investigate. In laboratory studies, researchers discovered that compounds within purified aloe gel appeared to encourage the activity of fibroblasts, the cells responsible for producing collagen and helping repair damaged tissue. Other experiments suggested that some of aloe's natural polysaccharides might support the skin's normal healing processes by helping maintain a moist environment, an important condition for tissue repair. Animal studies produced similarly encouraging results. In several experiments, wounds treated with purified aloe preparations appeared to heal more efficiently than untreated wounds. But scientists knew that the real test would come with carefully controlled human studies. Those studies revealed a more balanced picture. There is growing evidence that purified aloe gel may help soothe minor burns, improve skin hydration, and support the healing of certain superficial wounds. That helps explain why aloe continues to appear in many modern skincare products. At the same time, researchers emphasize that aloe is not a replacement for professional medical treatment. Serious burns, infected wounds, or deep injuries require proper medical care. Nature can sometimes support the body's healing process, but it cannot replace it. That conclusion reflects one of the most valuable lessons in modern herbal research. The truth is often more interesting than the myths. Aloe vera is neither a miracle cure nor an empty legend. It is a plant whose traditional reputation has, in some areas, found cautious support through scientific investigation. But the skin is only one front in the battle against aging. Inside the body, another struggle unfolds every moment of every day. Inflammation. Despite its reputation, inflammation is not the enemy. In fact, it is essential for life. Without it, cuts would never heal and infections could spread unchecked. The problem begins when inflammation refuses to switch off. Scientists now believe that persistent, low-grade inflammation may contribute to many of the chronic conditions associated with aging, including heart disease, type 2 diabetes, arthritis, and cognitive decline. Researchers wondered whether aloe's remarkable chemistry might influence this process. Laboratory studies identified several naturally occurring compounds, including antioxidants and plant sterols, that appeared capable of interacting with inflammatory pathways under controlled conditions. Some experiments showed reduced activity of certain inflammatory markers, while others suggested that aloe's antioxidants could help neutralize free radicals, unstable molecules that contribute to oxidative stress. Again, the laboratory findings were promising, but human biology is far more complex than a test tube. Clinical trials have produced mixed results. Some studies have reported modest improvements in specific markers of inflammation, while others found little difference compared with placebo. Differences in product quality, dosage, study design, and participant health make it difficult to draw broad conclusions. What scientists can say with confidence is that aloe vera is not a magic solution. Instead, it may become one small piece of a much larger picture that includes balanced nutrition, regular physical activity, quality sleep, stress management, and preventive healthcare. In other words, the greatest weapon against aging has never been a single plant. It is a healthy lifestyle. That realization led researchers to another fascinating question. Could aloe influence the body's internal ecosystem, the digestive system, where trillions of microorganisms help regulate metabolism, immunity, and overall health? Traditional cultures have long used carefully prepared aloe in digestive remedies, although different civilizations prepared it in different ways. Modern researchers approach the subject more cautiously. Some early studies suggest that purified inner-leaf aloe may support normal digestive comfort in certain individuals. Researchers have also explored whether compounds such as asamanin might interact with the gut's immune system, an area that remains under active investigation. Perhaps even more intriguing are studies examining blood sugar. Several small human trials have suggested that purified aloe preparations may modestly improve fasting blood glucose in some individuals with prediabetes or type 2 diabetes. However, the evidence remains limited, and scientists agree that much larger, well-designed clinical trials are needed before firm recommendations can be made. This is an important reminder that promising research is not the same as proven treatment. Anyone taking medication for diabetes should consult a healthcare professional before using aloe supplements regularly, since combining therapies without supervision may increase the risk of low blood sugar. Another surprise awaiting researchers was that not every part of the aloe leaf tells the same story. The clear inner gel, which has been the focus of most modern research, is very different from the bitter yellow latex found just beneath the outer skin. That latex contains compounds called anthraquinones, including aloin, which were once widely used as stimulant laxatives. While effective, excessive intake can cause abdominal cramping, diarrhea, dehydration, and electrolyte imbalances. Because of these concerns, reputable manufacturers carefully remove most of the latex when producing aloe products intended for oral consumption. This distinction highlights why scientific precision matters. Saying aloe vera is not enough. Which part of the plant? How was it processed? In what amount? These details often determine whether a product is helpful, ineffective, or potentially harmful. For those who choose to use aloe, moderation remains the wisest approach. Fresh, Properly prepared inner gel can be enjoyed in small quantities or used topically on minor skin irritation. Commercial products should come from reputable manufacturers that remove excess latex and follow recognized quality standards. Pregnant or breastfeeding women should avoid oral aloe supplements unless advised by a healthcare professional. Individuals with kidney disease, those taking diuretics, blood pressure medication, heart medication, or drugs for diabetes should also seek medical advice before using aloe regularly because interactions are possible. Perhaps this is where the story of aloe vera becomes most meaningful. For thousands of years, people searched this plant for miracles. Modern science found something better. It found evidence. Not perfect evidence. Not complete evidence. But enough to separate ancient observation from modern understanding. Some traditional uses have gained cautious scientific support. Others remain uncertain. And many questions continue to inspire new research. That is how science is supposed to work. The story of aloe vera was never about discovering a plant that could stop aging. It was about discovering a plant that encourages us to ask better questions about how the body protects itself, repairs itself, and changes over time. Perhaps the greatest lesson hidden inside those thick green leaves is not that nature has all the answers, but that it still holds many questions worth exploring. The next time you see an aloe plant growing quietly on a windowsill or in a garden, remember that you are looking at far more than a decorative succulent. You are looking at a survivor that has crossed deserts, traveled with explorers, earned the trust of ancient civilizations, and challenged modern scientists to separate legend from evidence. Its greatest gift may not be immortality. It may be curiosity. Because every time science uncovers another small piece of aloe's story, it reminds us that some of the world's most remarkable discoveries are still waiting, not in distant galaxies or hidden laboratories, but in the ordinary plants growing all around us. If you enjoyed this journey into the science, history, and mysteries of aloe vera, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you never miss our next documentary. Each week, we explore another remarkable plant, uncovering what ancient wisdom observed, what modern science has discovered, and what it all means for healthy aging today. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and never stop looking a little closer at the natural world. Sometimes, its quietest stories turn out to be the most extraordinary.